What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. Welcome to Alex Sports Talk and Bets. And this is going to be the NFL Week 3 preview. We're going to preview some of the games, talk about some of the situations the teams are in, and I'm going to give you guys picks and parlays that you can play off of those games. And I'm going to condense them all into one video. I do got to work out. I'm going to start putting these videos out on Saturday. I'm going to start putting the college football videos out on Friday and the NFL videos out on Saturday because the picks be hitting. But the problem is, I be so damn busy. I put them out so late. A lot of times people don't get enough of a chance to put them in. So I am aware of that, and I am going to be working on that. So that's what we're going to start doing. But either way, let's just get straight into it. Let's not waste too much time because I'm not a big person who likes to waste a lot of time. And we're going to go ahead and break down who's going to win these games, why. We're also going to talk about the state that your team is in along with the parlays and the picks, right? So if you're in a pool or you have a betting account or whatever the case may be, this is the video you want to tune into, right? Now, I'm just going to go down the order of the list as the games appear to me. The first game that I see is the New York Giants and the Cleveland Browns. I don't think the Giants have much of a chance here. This is a bum bowl, a battle of two trash quarterbacks. Daniel Jones stinks. Deshaun Watson stinks. I don't know who stinks more between these two. Like, the only thing I can say definitely is that they both stink. I'm going to say Daniel Jones probably stinks a little bit more than Deshaun Watson does. Then you got Cleveland at home. Usually in the NFL or in football in general, home field advantage really does matter. Usually adds at least 2.5 points. The Cleveland Browns are definitely going to win this game. All right, the Giants are a crap show. They're a shit show, to say the least. They're not going to be good anytime soon. They should have never brought Daniel Jones back. Once they made the decision they weren't going to bring Saquon back, they should have got rid of Daniel Jones. When Daniel Jones first came up, right, it was first a conversation about Robert not to re-sign him. I was the one who told Giants fans, I said, listen, all right, if you bring Daniel Jones back, you have to bring Saquon Barkley back because that means you think you can win now with this core. If you have any questions about Daniel Jones, if you have any questions about Saquon Barkley, then let them both go and just start a rebuild. What the Giants did, which is some people who are familiar with my other channel might realize what I'm talking about, is they were halfway hoes. They were half-stepping. So they brought Daniel Jones back but wouldn't commit to Saquon Barkley. So now you're in a half rebuild, which really should be a full rebuild because Daniel Jones sucks. So all you did was basically waste the last 2 years. Either way, they're going to have to get rid of Daniel Jones after this season. The Cleveland Browns are going to win this game. I don't really know what I would parlay pick in this game because both offenses are kind of anemic. I guess you would take Jerome Ford for a touchdown. But if you want to be safe, just take the Cleveland Browns. I would take the 6.5 because I feel pretty confident that they're probably just going to outright smack the Giants. Moving on from that, the Chicago Bears and the Indianapolis Colts. This is another bum bowl, right? But these are two teams who are supposedly on the up and up. I like what the Indianapolis Colts have going. I think if Anthony Richardson was more pro-ready to really take over right now, the Colts would not be a bad team. I like their defensive line. I like their linebackers. They got some young corners who will get better. I like their young receiving core. I love Jonathan Taylor as a running back, and I love their offensive line. Their receiving core will get better. Anthony Richardson will get better. I think the Colts in the next year or two will definitely be a team you have to look out for, but it won't be this season because Richardson's not ready yet. With that being said, I do think the Colts are better than the Bears. I don't really believe in what the Bears have going on. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, well, you were a Packers fan, Alex. That's why you're saying that. Has nothing to do with it. I didn't like the selection of Caleb Williams because even though Justin Fields is a bum and good quarterbacks never come from Ohio State for the most part, they also pretty much never come from USC. Even deeper than that, the Bears didn't fix their biggest flaw, which is their offensive line. The Bears had the opportunity, right, to go out, and I'll probably talk about this more in a separate video, but the Bears had the opportunity to go out and fortify their offensive line, in which case they really could have kept Justin Fields. Do I think Caleb Williams is a better thrower of the football than Justin Fields? Yeah, but do I think Caleb Williams is the dude who's going to turn the franchise like the Browns around? I mean, not the Browns, the Bears around? No, I don't think he's going to be able to do that. And so, instead of getting an offensive lineman or building an offensive line, what the Bears elected to do was they decided that they were going to go out there and they were going to get Keenan Allen and then Romeo Dunze. What good is having all these weapons if you can't block? The quarterback has to have time to get the ball to Keenan Allen, to get the ball to Romeo Dunze, to get the ball to DJ Moore. You already had DJ Moore. So the decision to not fortify that offensive line, when you see how Justin Fields was getting hit, I think sunk the Chicago Bears. I also don't really love their defense. I think they're well coached, but from a talent standpoint, they got Jalen Johnson and kind of who else? You know, I just think the Bears, assuming Caleb Williams is what they think he is, which I don't think he is, I think he'll be a good quarterback. I don't think he's going to be great. I think the transcendent, franchise-changing quarterback who will come out of this draft is Jaden Daniels over in Washington. But assuming he's going to be just good, right? I think the Bears are at least 3 years away from competing. I do. I think they're about 3 years away from competing. I don't think the Colts are that far away. I say all of that basically to say to you guys that I think the Indianapolis Colts win that game. I feel pretty confident the Indianapolis Colts win that game. It's no point taking the spread because the spread and the money line is albeit the same thing. Vegas seems split on the game. I'm not split on the game. The Colts are going to win that game, all right? Houston Texans, the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings somehow are undefeated. I don't really understand how. I mean, they're playing out of their minds. Listen, one thing I will say, the NFL, everybody's a pro athlete, right? So everybody was the best player on their college team at some point. So to an extent, I get it. If you're being well coached, you can overperform. The Vikings are overachieving, though. I'm looking at the Vikings. I'm looking at the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans have a team. I don't think they can win the AFC, but I can see them competing in it. I just can't see the Vikings competing in the AFC long term. I just can't. Sam Darnold's not that guy. I think it's only a while before teams catch up to him. Now, I will say, I talked about this before with Malik Willis, who will be coming up in a few seconds. When you have a coach like Kevin O'Connell, or you have a coach like Matt LaFleur, or you have a coach like Kyle Shanahan, they're running that Shanahan system, that system opens up receivers for you. You don't really have to be an all-world quarterback like that to look good in that system. So you can see that with Sam Darnold. You seen that last week with Malik Willis. Was he a world beater? No, but he was good enough to win the game just because of that system. Look at Brock Purdy, 7th round pick. You put him in that system, he performs well. Jimmy Garoppolo, you put him in that system, he performs well. Right? So I think the system helps Kevin O'Connell, but do I think the Vikings are a good team? Nah, I don't see it, man. I don't think the Vikings are a very good team. So, to make a long story short, I say all that to say, I think the Houston Texans win that game. I think the Vikings hang around, probably make it interesting because they're very well coached with the offensive system. But I don't like the Vikings' defense at all. I don't like their defense at all. I don't think their defense is very good. The Vikings are at home. They play tough at home. This will be a close game, but I just don't see the Houston Texans losing this game. Too many weapons. You got C.J. Stroud. You got Nico Collins. You got Stephon Diggs. You got Tank Dell. I don't know if Joe Mixon is healthy. I want to say he is healthy for this game. I don't really love Houston's defense either, but I like them a little bit better than the Vikings. The Eagles and the Saints, this is an interesting one. This is a very interesting one. The Eagles are in trouble. I'm going to say that. I don't know if A.J. Brown is playing today. Let me see if I can very quickly look and see if he is. But I don't think that he's playing today. Yeah, I don't see A.J. Brown. Yeah, so the Eagles are in trouble. They're going to lose this game. A.J. Brown's not playing. I don't see any scenario in which they win. The problem with the Eagles is this. I knew their secondary was going to be trash, right? The Eagles' secondary being trash, not a surprise to me at all. But I thought their defensive line was going to be dominant. They were at least going to be able to stop the run. Them not even being able to do that is the surprise to me. And them not even being able to do that is why they're going to lose this game. I just don't see any way. Alvin Kamara, I don't think they have a linebacker who can guard him coming out of the backfield. I don't think they have a defensive line who can stop him coming out of the backfield on the run. So I think he's going to run well on them. I think he's going to receive well on them. They haven't really even had that scary of a pass rush, and that secondary is trash. Darius Slay is washed. You out here dapping someone up for cooking you. Washed. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is a bum who talks too much, and he's also washed. You know what I mean? Cooper DeJean, come on now. Bum. I do like Quentin Johnson, I think that's his name is, the rookie, or Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell, I think it is, one of them. I do like him, but he ain't ready yet. I don't see any way. The Colts are too well coached off. Not the Colts, I'm sorry. The Saints are too well coached offensively, got too many weapons. I think their defense is good enough. And if A.J. Brown was playing, I think the Eagles would have a shot. But without A.J. Brown, I think their defense is good enough to slow down Devonta Freeman and them. And I also think Jalen Hurts is not as good as everybody makes him out to be. I just don't think he's someone who could really, beat you. You know? So the Eagles might keep it close to coming off a loss, but New Orleans is a very, very, very tough place to play, man. I went to a Packers game against New Orleans one time, and they be turned up, man. The music be blaring. They be turned up, man. They be New Orleans bouncing and twerking on you. When that energy gets going to New Orleans, it's something different, man. So it's a very tough place to play. So I don't see the Eagles coming out of that game. I think they'll make it competitive, though. Now, this is a hard one. The Chargers and the Steelers is a very hard one to call. This is a very, very hard one to call. Because you want to say Justin Herbert should be able to take care of business against Justin Fields, because Justin Fields is just not that good. But Justin Herbert doesn't really have weapons. This was a team that you could tell has Harbaugh's imprint on it. So they're designed to run, which is fine. They did get off well running last week. But I don't really love their running backs. I do like their offensive line. Pittsburgh Steelers has a very good defense. So I don't know how much they'll be able to run against Pittsburgh or pass. The Chargers don't have the best defense in the world, but I do think it's good enough to give Justin Fields some problems, especially with Bosa and Matt coming off the edge. There's always an underdog, right? There's always a team that wins that's not really supposed to win. I think the Chargers could be that team this week. I think they have enough defense to slow Justin Fields down and just enough offense to get enough points to win this game. I think Harbaugh is a tough coach. Tomlin's a tough coach too. Mike Tomlin's a tough coach too. But I think Harbaugh is a tough enough coach to get them through a game like this. I actually would take the Chargers to win here. I think the Chargers upset the Steelers. I think the line is too big personally. I don't know why it's as big as it is. But I think the Chargers could pull this win off. I would take the Chargers 3.5 on the spread if you want to be safe. If they do lose, I don't think it'll be by more than 3 points. So 3.5 spread if you want to be safe, but I think the Chargers win that game. That's kind of my upset pick for the week. I kind of like what the Chargers have going. They just need to get Justin Herbert a few more weapons, and they might be really solid. They might be really good. The Broncos and the Buccaneers, I don't really give the Broncos much of a chance. They're playing Bo Nix. I don't know why they believe in Bo Nix. I don't think Bo Nix is the guy, but I get it. Sean Payton is extremely overrated as a coach, in my opinion, as well. Sean Payton is like the Doc Rivers of the NFL to me, You won one championship with a stacked team, and he got way overrated, and he's still getting paid off that one championship that was like a decade ago. Almost 2 decades ago at this point. Buccaneers win that game. The boy, Baker Mayfield, has been on a roll. I don't see that stopping. Buccaneers win that game. The Packers and the Titans is another interesting one. I would probably assume Jordan Love is not going to play in this game. So I'm going to make the assumption that it will be Malik Willis. So it's like a Malik Willis revenge game. This is another one of those ones I could kind of see going either way. And I'm saying that because the Titans generally have a pretty good run defense. So I don't know if Josh Jacobs is going to be able to all the way get off the way he usually does. But I will also say Matt LaFleur is a coaching genius. Matt LaFleur can draw up plays similar to Kevin O'Connell, similar to Kyle Shanahan, where it just becomes very hard to stop them, and they're just scheming people open. They're scheming run lanes. They're scheming people open. I think the Packers have the better coach in this game. I think the Packers still have the better team because Will Levis isn't very good either. This is going to be a second upset watch pick. I think Green Bay can go into Tennessee and win that game, even if Malik just got to do it scrambling. If you want to be safe, take Green Bay 7.5, right, on a spread, if you want to be safe. But similar to the Chargers, I think those are the two upsets. I think Green Bay can win. I think the Chargers can win. Now we go into 4 o'clock games. Got the Carolina Panthers and the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't really have to say much about this. The Raiders should win that game, although I will say I do think that the Panthers will be more competitive because Andy Dalton's their quarterback now. Bryce Young sucks. People can talk about that offensive line all day. Are they good? No. Are they that bad? Also no. Bryce Young is he's terrible. So I think they'll be more competitive, but the Raiders should win that game. Miami Dolphins, Seattle Seahawks. Miami Dolphins, I don't even know who's going to be their quarterback going into the game. Is it going to be the Skylar kid? Let me see really quick. Is it going to be that Skylar kid? Yeah, it's going to be Skylar Thompson. I don't see it. I think the Seahawks win that game. Seattle's a very tough place to play. Keep your eye on the Dolphins. Maybe take the Dolphins 7.5 on the spread, but I think the Seahawks win that game. I don't see them getting upset. Not at home. The Lions and the Cardinals. This is another one that is very interesting, man. The Lions have not looked that good this year. They haven't. And I remember telling people I think it was a mistake going into the season relying on Jamison Williamson. I don't know if it's Williams or Williamson, whatever. Relying on Jamison to be your number 2. Because he hasn't really shown that he's ready to be able to do that. Yeah, he's fast, but can he run routes? Can he do all the extra stuff, the intricate stuff that's required to be a good receiver? Amon-Ra St. Brown's gotten paid and has not had a good start to the season. I like Kyler Murray a lot more than other people do. I think Kyler Murray is the type of player, he can 100% upset you. 100%. You got to watch that little Mighty Mike, man. He'll get you. Now you throw Marvin Harrison in there, the halfback, O'Connor, or James O'Connell, whatever, the halfback. He's having a good year this year. The Cardinals defense can't stop anyone. I mean, the Lions defense can't really stop anyone either. Lions just lost last week. I think this is a very dangerous game for Detroit where they could be upset. But if it was me, I would take the Detroit money line. Or, right now they have the Falcons at a 3-point spread, which is stupid because it's a push. Bump that up to 3.5 or 7.5. And then I would take the Cardinals on the spread. So either take the Lions or bump the Cardinals up to a 3.5 or 7.5. And you'll still get pretty good value on that. Baltimore Ravens and Dallas Cowboys. This is another very, 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 very interesting one. The Ravens are 0-2. They need to win badly. The Cowboys are 1-1. They beat the brakes off the Browns, then got the brakes beaten off them by the Saints, who I just think everyone's underrating. You know, I know most people are probably looking at this game saying, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, you can't really have a better bounce back game than the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know that I agree with that. Had the Saints not already beaten the brakes off the Cowboys, sure. But the Saints did just beat the brakes off the Cowboys. So I think the Cowboys are going to be motivated in this game. I also think the problem with the Ravens this year, they have a very good run defense. They don't have a very good pass defense. And the Cowboys ain't trying to run the ball anyway. So if you let Gardner Minshew kind of carve you up, you're going to have a hard time really convincing me that Dak Prescott can't do the same thing. I don't see how or why he wouldn't be able to. Because you can say what you want about Dak Prescott, but he's better than Gardner Minshew. Then you got CeeDee Lamb. You couldn't really guard Devontae Adams. I don't really see why you would be able to guard CeeDee Lamb. This is kind of a scary game for me for Baltimore. I think that they will pull it out. So if I had to pick one, I would pick Baltimore to win. But I think it's a very scary game for them, and I hate saying that because, you know, I'm in the DMV. You know, shout out to my DMV heads. If it was me, they're making the spread so tight, I would probably go 3.5 on the Cowboys here just to be safe because I think it's going to be that close of a game. But if you're making me take a straight money line, then I would give the Ravens a slight edge. But I'm telling you guys, I think this game is a lot closer than a lot of people are giving it credit for. Vegas thinks the same thing. The spread for the Ravens and the Cowboys game right now is damn near even. The Ravens are -118, the Cowboys are +100. That's a push. So they don't even know what's going to happen. And I agree with them. So again, I do think the Ravens will pull it out because they have to. But I don't know, man. That's a push. If you want to be safe, like I said, I would take Dallas 3.5. Then you're safe. You're covered either way. Because I don't think it's going to be a blowout. The Rams and the 49ers, the Rams are kind of a mess right now. I don't think Cooper Kupp is playing. I know Puka Nacua is not playing. But I'm pretty sure Cooper Kupp isn't playing either. Let's see here. Let me just double check my information on that. Yeah, Cooper Kupp's not playing. Puka Nacua is not playing. The Rams are a mess. Matthew Stafford will be hurt soon. I don't want him to be hurt, but he's going to get hurt. He's old, and he's already injury prone anyway. The 49ers just lost to the Vikings, a game they really should have won. They're going to beat the brakes off of the Rams. You might as well call this a home game for the 49ers because the Rams have no fans. They're going to beat the brakes off the Rams. All right? Wrapping up the rest of the games, you got Kansas City and Atlanta on Sunday Night Football. This is going to be actually a very interesting one, too. I have no reason to believe, though, that Atlanta is going to be able to beat the Chiefs. I think it'll be a good game, but you're not going to get me to take Kirk Cousins over Patrick Mahomes when it comes down to the come down. So I would take the Chiefs money line or 2.5. Take the Chiefs 2.5 on the spread. Never take a 3-point spread, by the way, guys. There's 2 games today that have a 3-point spread. Never take a 3-point spread. Because it's just going to void. If the Chiefs win by 3, then it just voids. If the Falcons lose by 3, it just voids. So you always want to bump that down to 2.5 or bump it up to 3.5 or something. In this case, if you were going to touch that, I would take the Chiefs 2.5, but it doesn't really make sense to do that when you already get negative 172 to just take the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are going to win that game. The Falcons don't really have much of a defense either, to be completely honest with you. I think they'll score points. It'll be interesting. Bijan Robinson will go off, but the Chiefs are going to win that game. When it comes down to the come down, I just think Mahomes is going to make the play. I don't think that Kirk Cousins is. Jacksonville and Buffalo. Buffalo's going to beat Jacksonville. I don't really have much more to say about that. I am not a Trevor Lawrence fan. In my opinion, he's been one of the most overhyped, overrated quarterbacks in like the last 2 decades. He's just not that good. He's still living off of success from high school and college when he's been in the NFL for 5 years. He's just not that good. Buffalo is rolling. They're playing team ball. They're spreading the ball around. They're going to be home. Buffalo's a tough place to play. Buffalo's going to take care of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And last, and certainly not least, you have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Washington Commanders. The Bengals are going to beat the Commanders. They got the spread at 7.5. The Bengals like to play with their food. Drop the spread down to 6.5. So that way they don't have to win by, more than a touchdown. But the Bengals are going to win that game. It's pretty much no way that I see the Commanders winning that game. I do think Jane Daniels will be a very good generational quarterback to come out of this draft, but they got to give him some more help first before we really see that. Either way, that's my recap on what's going on in Week 3, along with my picks for Week 3. And I'm out, y'all. Peace.